Hey, welcome back, everybody. And here we go. So, pending sales appear to be dipping as affordability gains basically a fail to spark demand, meaning it is not taking off, even though interest rates have come down and we've seen more inventory. Let's find out why, and let's take a look at the metrics we do each and every week. All right, so here's the thing. They're saying pending sales are lagging, and this is on a nationwide level. And so is that the same circumstance that we have now, or are we actually seeing a greater number of pending sales? That's a really great question. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about new construction. We're going to talk about foreclosures as we do each and every week to give you some really good insight. Now, remember, hey, listen, there's no marketing here. It's just solid information for you to, it's actionable. You can make a good business decision based on this each and every week. So, let everybody know that you can, who's interested in real estate. More importantly, if they're looking at buying or selling, look, it's free. Have them take a look at it. So let's get the show on the road here. So here we go. So pending sales dip as affordability gains fail to spark demand. And what the heck does that, translate into? Well, Lawrence, he says, listen, lower rates have expanded the pool of mortgage eligible households, potentially funding hundreds of thousands of new buyers. But he said, listen, without any significant increase in housing inventory, things really pretty much aren't going to change. I tend to agree with that. We still, surprisingly enough, even though they say, oh my gosh, we have a lot more inventory, like 25%. Okay, well, that's like 1,500 homes for us. And that's 3/4 of Washington State, which, as you know, then, well, that's not a big deal. But it's still more homes, which is good. We still could use more homes. We have about 2.5, 2 3/4 months of inventory. We should be at about 3.5, 4 months. That would be a little bit more balanced. And when we take a look at our metrics, when we look at our running 7-day average, that's going to make a lot of sense to you. Now, let's take a look at some of the ad articles that are going on and say, listen, new home sales remain near recent highs. Okay, I would agree with that one. And then, of course, pending sales dip as affordability gains fail. That's bottom left. Bottom right, mortgage rates hold flat on Thursday despite weekly average news. So here's the funny thing. That is super important to understand, because as we have our metrics on mortgages, we actually got some bad numbers. And normally when we get some bad numbers, bonds go up, they sell off on some of the treasuries, and mortgage rates come down. That really didn't happen, because we're already at, in fact, we dipped to like 5.99 briefly, whoop, and then we popped back up again. When we say we pop back up, we're about 6.05, 6.01. We're still in, quote unquote, the low sixes, and we're going to stay there for quite a while. For some folks that said, oh, I missed the 5.99. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. A small buy down, probably half a point or half of a percent will get you into the fives in most circumstances. So keep that in mind. When we take a look at rate, if you take a look at that upper right chart up there, 6.04. Again, guys, that's just amazing. You can see that chart as it goes down and what it's offering. And we have been in a very positive direction for buyers with mortgage rates, because that is what allows it to be affordable. And that's what Lawrence Yun is talking about. We need to piggyback a little bit more inventory on that. We're going to talk about that here shortly also. So when we talk about the running 7-day average, look, you can again see we are at 6.01. Listen, that's 0.83. We're almost 1% lower today than where we were a year ago. And that's why we're still seeing quite a bit of activity that is coming out in our market. When we take a look at days on market, look, it's not unexpected. We're at about 62 days. It's creeped up just a little bit. Some of that is a little bit of the fact that some sellers had overpriced. The howevers, when we take a look at inventory, let's blow this one up. Take a look at this. So in the last 7 days, Friday being the highest list day, we had 949 homes come on market, which is awesome. But we also had 973 that went pended. Okay, so that means for every home that's coming on market, we're taking one off. If you look at Wednesday numbers, which were 793 versus 980 something, for every home that comes on market, 1.3 homes, 1.25 homes is going off market. So we're technically still drawing down our inventory. Now that is different than the numbers on the national level, and that is super important to understand. When homes come on market here, well-priced homes are still seeing multiple offers, okay? Because our inventory is still limited in a lot of areas. Now, some of our market time is increased because it is the more rural areas, not in the Pierce, King, Snohomish areas. Some people like to include Kitsap. I don't. That's a little too rural. But the core counties, especially King and Snohomish County, those counties are actually doing quite well. So if we come back and we take a look at the year over year for the Northwest MLS, look, our numbers are doing quite well. If we take a look at the other upper chart, look, even though our sales are down 2.7 or basically 150 homes, our pendants are up 10.6%. So we are bucking that trend. If you take a look at the lower green chart, you can see that, hey, for the month of February, year over year, our sales are up 4.5%, okay? Roughly, 103 homes. And then, of course, we have our pendants, which are up 20.1%. So remember, if you're going to watch the news, make sure that you're watching and looking at our local numbers. These are residential numbers. We do not include condos. We do not include manufactured homes, just single-family stick-built homes, which is our constant for a metric. Condos are suffering a little bit. They're actually pulling that market down, where single-family homes actually are doing quite well. So remember to always look at what is the real number today when you're looking at what's going on. Now, if we look at what we're doing for price-wise, okay, both the year over year and the month over month is down just a little bit. You can see we're down about $12,000, $13,000 for an average sold price. That doesn't mean your home came down $10,000, $12,000, $13,000. That's just the average what is sold. You can see that our list price is basically kind of net the same. It hasn't changed. So all things considered, we're doing pretty good. All things considered. This is 3/4 of Washington state. That includes all the rural areas. Again, that's pretty good. So if we come back here, we open this back up again, we take a look at new construction. Now, new construction, super interesting because we have seen some improvement in these numbers. In fact, quite a bit of improvement, which is super awesome. Let's blow this up. Top chart. You can see that our pended are now above. We're 1.6% above, which is better than where we've been at the last couple of weeks, and expected, because we're looking at some great incentives getting towards the end of the month. And you know what? We're down 140 homes or so, based on what has closed. But again, we're recapturing. If we take a look at that bottom chart, look, for the month of February, they're already up almost 14%, 13.5% to be exact. And sales are off 0.3. So we're talking one house. So all things considered, when we talk about pendant homes and new construction, we're doing really well. When we talk about sales, again, some of those are the January sales, we are one home off from where we were at year over year. So new construction, again, is still doing amazingly well and still a great opportunity if you're more flexible on price and more flexible on location versus resales that are coming on, which allow you, definitely more options. That is what holds new construction back at this point. All right. So if we come in here and then we flip over, talk about what's going on price-wise, we're up for the month of February, year over year, we're up 6%. We're down just a tiny, tiny little bit for the average sold price. Again, still doing incredibly well. We don't have the some of the numbers that they do in Texas and Arizona and Florida. We are just not that market, okay? Now, let's flip over to REOs, bank-owned homes. Again, these are not the greatest investments if you're looking for discounts because, well, they do paint, carpet, and vinyl, and they get it all squared away. And here's our numbers. Super, super, super boring. If we talk about solds are up 19%, that sounds pretty impressive. It's 4 homes. If we talk about a 30% increase in pending, that's 9 homes. So as you can tell, that's peanuts. Pretty much, if it says, hey, we have a 50% increase, we have a few more homes that have come on market, 75 last year, 112 this year, but 3/4 of Washington State, that's pretty much peanuts. That is very much a negligible number. So if you have any questions, put it down below. Let us know what you're thinking. If you need some additional information, there's no strings attached. Just let us know. We'll send it off to you. If you ask a technical question, many times we'll create a video for you and fire it off. It's a little wet and cold outside today, so be super careful. Tons of open houses out there. Make sure you get out and take a look at them. Hopefully we'll see you out at one of ours. In the meantime, have an absolutely beautiful day. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.